Hello everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we are back again, and here now we have another fun video for you, and this will be a breakdown where I look at what I deem are the most hottest attractive women within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So in this breakdown we'll look at actresses both past and present since the MCU began way back in 2008, where we will include all of the movies and television shows and also the Marvel Netflix shows, which despite much debate are also part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now all actresses within this breakdown are ones who feature prominently with multiple films and series, not just one-off appearances. And as with all of these breakdowns, everything is done with good taste here as well, so as well as focusing on how good looking actresses are, I'll also comment very much so on their performances and impact within the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well. So here we go then with who I deem are the most hottest women within the MCU. Let me know if within the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my choices, and then we can have further debate afterwards. So here we go then with the most attractive, hottest women within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now the first entry on this list is Simone Missick. The American actress entered the MCU as the feisty independent detective Misty Knight in the Luke Cage series for 2 seasons. Initially having a casual fling with Luke Cage in the opening episodes, Misty would then go on to strike a good partnership with Colleen Knight and also Danny Rand. And Simone has always had that fierce confidence alongside a great beauty and figure and also maturity. Most definitely all elements that you'd want within a woman. She also had the sassiness that was perfect for the character, and she looked great in the more typical costume that we saw her in within a season 2 finale. Will we possibly see her return if Luke Cage survived on Disney+? We'll wait and see, but overall a fine choice and a very fine woman in Simone Missick within this breakdown. We go on to the next entry on this list, and that is Zoe Saldana. Already a very well known and established actress before joining the MCU, with her roles in the likes of the Star Trek reboot movies and also Avatar from 2009, Zoe came to prominence even more so with her role as Gamora, the warrior daughter of Thanos, joining the Guardians of the Galaxies on their various adventures. Definitely one of the most distinctive women within the MCU due to her green skin and slinky outfits. Zoe has always looked great, really bringing that hard, tough attitude and tone towards the character. Of course, she was given even greater emotional weight and pathos in Avengers Infinity War, and Zoe overall has always looked great, and she still looks as evergreen and youthful even in her later years, and I've always seen her as one of the most attractive and prominent actresses ever since the 2010 decade, and after all these years she's still got it very much so and still continues to be very prolific within the industry. So a great choice on this list for Zoe Saldana. We then go on to the next entry on this list, and that is Florence Pugh. The British-born actress was introduced into the MCU in Black Widow's solo film from 2021 as Natasha Romanoff's sister Yelena Belova. Bringing lots of charisma and likability to the character, she gained a lot of praise and adulation from Marvel fans, and she cemented that further when appearing in the Hawkeye TV series, striking a very good rapport with Kate Bishop. So there remains a lot of potential for Florence Pugh to become a really long-standing member of the MCU. Alongside her very pretty looks and figure and blonde hair, she's more than a suitable replacement, it seems, for Scarlett Johansson as the next Black Widow going forward for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So it won't be too long before we see her appear once more within the MCU, I'm pretty much sure of that. Most likely in any eventual season 2 of Hawkeye, and perhaps also in the Secret Invasion series. But I'm pretty much sure that as she progresses through the MCU, we may even eventually get to see her have her own solo film later on down the line. So a great choice on this entry for Florence Pugh. We then go on to the next choice on this list, and that is Hayley Stanfield. The American actress had previously been seen in the likes of the True Grit Western alongside Jeff Bridges, and also in the Transformers movie Bumblebee. Hayley fit the role perfectly as Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye series, fighting alongside Clint Barton against the likes of the Tracksuit Gang, bringing very much that lively, energetic charm and sprightliness about her. Hayley again gives a lot of promise alongside her absolute gorgeous looks, sweet nature and great figure overall, and Hayley definitely earns her place within this breakdown already as one of the most attractive women not only within the MCU but also currently within the industry as well. So just like Florence Pugh, I'm sure Hayley will become a firmly established character within the MCU for many years to come, but a great entry on this list for Hayley Stanfield as Kate Bishop within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We then come on to the next entry on this list, and that is Elizabeth Olsen, who without question within her role as Wanda Maximoff has had one of the best developed character arcs within the MCU. We of course first saw her alongside her brother Quicksilver in Age of Ultron. Her relationship developed with Vision in both Captain America Civil War and Avengers Infinity War, especially reaching that emotional climax. She then got her own lead story in WandaVision, where we saw Wanda create very much of a hex zone to deal with the emotional drama of the events from Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, as well as the emergence of the chaos magic, where we indeed saw a darker projection of the character manifest itself. And of course her role will continue even further with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and it's been rumoured that Marvel have offered Elizabeth a multi-picture deal, fully recognising the status and popularity that Elizabeth has brought to the character. And despite all of the issues with WandaVision as a show, Elizabeth was phenomenal in the series and looks absolutely beautiful and fantastic in that upgraded Scarlet Witch costume that we saw in the season finale of WandaVision, and we will continue to see also in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So Elizabeth Olsen is definitely a woman in her prime both physically and career wise, and all signs are pointing to Wanda looking to be amongst the leading characters within the MCU going forward for phase 4 and beyond, and I've got no arguments in that, as it will give us far more sights of Elizabeth Olsen, and I'm pretty much sure everybody will be pleased with that prospect as well. So a great choice here for one of the leading ladies within the MCU going forward, and that is Elizabeth Olsen. So we then come up to the runner-up on this list, and that is Hayley Atwell. The British-born actress appeared first in the MCU in the first Captain America movie, The First Avenger, as Peggy Carter, the eventual founder of S.H.I.E.L.D. In that movie she of course played a fellow agent alongside Steve Rogers, giving very much of that strong stern presence where she provided a lot of confidence and conviction within the role, and she proved successful and substantial enough to get her own television series through ABC for 2 seasons titled Agent Carter, where we gave even greater context for the character, where we saw her having to rise up through the ranks of S.H.I.E.L.D. in very much of a male dominated society within the early 40s. And in terms of the show itself, I thought it was very fun and entertaining, and it definitely deserved a final season where we should have perhaps seen Peggy make the final steps into creating the S.H.I.E.L.D. organisation, and in many ways it was also a shame that there was no logistical way to modernise the character and have her interacting with many characters within the current Marvel timeline, as for so long she was one of the MCU's strongest female characters. And of course, Hayley Atwell brought all of her stunning looks and curves in a role as Peggy Carter, and she was generally one of the most gorgeous women within all of the movie industry, let alone the MCU. So unfortunately it seems that any last appearances of Peggy Carter or indeed Hayley Atwell within the MCU would have been from the What If series, where we saw her provide the voice work for the alternative character known as Captain Carter. But who knows, especially with Marvel delving much more into the multiverse, we may indeed see further appearances of Hayley as Peggy Carter down the line. But despite that, she still had an impressive run as Peggy Carter within the universe, if perhaps it was a bit short-lived, but overall she still remains one of the most attractive and stunning women within the MCU, as well as the movie industry in general. So a great runner-up on this list within Hayley Atwell. And so we come to at last, and for me and I think for most people and fans of Marvel, the woman that still remains the hottest and most attractive within all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that is of course Scarlett Johansson. Her introduction was of course as Natasha Romanoff, one of the first OG members of the Avengers, and easily becoming one of the biggest established characters within all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we saw her journey projected all the way through all of the Avengers movies and Captain America movies, before meeting her end at Avengers Endgame, which I still think overall was a massive mistake. Now Marvel did try to remedy this to a point by giving her a prequel solo movie that we saw released in 2021, but many fans felt that this was somewhat overdue and that she really should have had a solo adventure just shortly after Captain America the Winter Soldier. But despite this, Scarlett Johansson still managed to portray one of the most iconic female comic book characters in live action outside of Wonder Woman. Certainly in today's modern climate, she just typified so much that strong female character who was completely comfortable in her femininity and sexuality. Of course, her iconic look in the black silky outfit, very true to the source material, and of course it was the role that really propelled Scarlett Johansson to mega stardom within the movie industry, and she has gone on of course to become one of the most prolific actresses within all of Hollywood, and no doubt about it. So for me and for most people, I believe that Scarlett Johansson still remains the most hottest and attractive woman within all of the MCU, and probably still I would say the most iconic heroine within all of the universe as well. Now will we go on to see Natasha Romanoff possibly appear later on down the line? It's looking very doubtful, of course, dealing with the fallout of the lawsuit against Disney following the day and date streaming release of Black Widow within Disney+. But shortly after, both parties have seemed to come to some sort of reconciliation. And again, due to Marvel tapping into the multiverse, where we get all sorts of realities, the door has very much been left open for Scarlett Johansson to return as the most iconic female character within all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings on who I deem are the most hottest and attractive women in all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like this breakdown and you'd like to see me perform several other lists just like this in the future within the channel, then let me know of what topics you would like me to cover, and I will see if I can provide similar breakdowns like that later on in the future. Please also hit and like those subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves, stay safe distances, and I will see you very soon.